Okay, so these kids who are telling me that you're making comments about their bodies, multiple kids are lying, multiple kids are telling me that, that you've reached and you've touched them in inappropriate places. Those kids are lying. This child who says that you are her favorite teacher in the world is telling me that you have touched her, and now she's lying. So it's the world against you.
And I never thought for 1 second that was the last time I would ever talk with her and say goodbye.
He is going to try fighting as long as he can, but as far as I'm concerned, the case is closed.
The mourning mother of Jean Childs, a 35-year-old woman tragically murdered in her South Minneapolis apartment, speaks out. The criminal, 56-year-old Jerry Westrom, was identified nearly 2 decades later. A crucial piece of evidence linking him to the scene is a discarded napkin. This video dives into the interrogation of Jerry Westrom, revealing how this single napkin became crucial in his eventual identification and capture. Back in 1993, Jeannie Ann Childs resided in Horns Tower in South Minneapolis, where she was discovered, tragically stabbed to death. The crime scene presented a chaotic sight, a disordered apartment with bloody footprints, multiple DNA samples, and even semen on a blood-stained comforter. The perpetrator's DNA was extensively scattered on towels, washcloths, a t-shirt, seemingly everywhere. However, despite this abundance of evidence, the challenge arose from the limitations of the time. It was 1993, and the DNA database yielded no matches, complicating the investigation. For 26 years, the case remained unsolved until a breakthrough emerged. Investigators identified a match on a genealogy website, connecting the DNA to the Westrom family. This led them to focus on Jerry Westrom, an Azanti businessman. However, due to the nature of the match being through genealogy rather than a direct DNA match, investigators required a sample of Jerry Westrom's DNA to solidify the connection. Law enforcement surveilled Westrom and tracked him to a hockey game. During the event, Westrom used a napkin and casually discarded it in the trash. Remarkably, this seemingly innocent act became essential in connecting him to the stabbing and the chaotic movements within the blood-stained apartment, conclusively placing him at the scene of the crime. In 2019, Westrom was called for interrogation, hoping to extract any potential information regarding the crime that had taken place 26 years prior.
Probably wondering what all this is about, I assume, or do you have any idea? I have no idea. Let's see if we can clear it up. You know, a lot of times, Jerry, believe it or not, I've had a lot of cases down here, and people come down and they're able to say, hey, this is a situation, whatever, okay? Now, here's the thing. We are looking at a case that happened many years ago. Okay, and your names come up in it. And sometimes there's a reasonable explanation why that is, and sometimes there's not. So we just want to talk to you a little bit about that. Is that okay with you? Yeah? Okay. Have you ever been read your Miranda warning before? Yes. Okay. And did you understand it last time you read it? Yes. Okay, I'm going to read it to you again, okay? Jerry, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer now and have a lawyer present now at any time during questioning. If you can afford a lawyer, want to be appointed for without cost. Do you understand those rights? Yep. All right, we want to talk to you about something. First, on my desk, I have that folder. Can you grab it? Sure. Do you want me to grab it? I'll get it. Jerry, would you like anything to drink? No, thanks. Yeah. And just take a second here and relax. Have you ever been down to this area? Yeah. Down to Minneapolis? Have you ever been to this room, City Hall? Not the exact room, no. Okay. Do you need anything? Do you need to use the bathroom or anything to drink? No. Or just you want some water or anything like that? No. Okay. All right, Jerry. So I'm going to show you some pictures of this area of Minneapolis, see if you've ever been there. And just to let you know, a lot of times these cases, they have a lot of people come up in it. Sometimes sometimes we don't have, we learn something in these interviews, okay?
The detectives aim to sweet-talk voluntary information from Westrom to strengthen their evidence against him. However, they walk a fine line, hesitant to alert him to their suspicions as a criminal. Despite the DNA connection linking Westrom to the crime scene, the detectives realize they require additional evidence to construct a solid case against him.
Are you familiar with these buildings here? They're in South Minneapolis. They're called the Horn Towers. No? Okay. Let me show you a different picture of these. Yeah, you ever familiar with those? Are you familiar with Lake Street? Yeah. Okay, do you know what the Kmart is on Lake Street? Yeah. Okay, so if you look at this map here, you'll see that you have Kmart is right here. Okay. And then these are where these three buildings are, the Horn Towers. So Kmart's right here. This is Blaisdell. This is 31st. This is Pillsbury. And these are three tall buildings. And they're called the Horn Towers. People from out of Minneapolis may not know them as the Horn Towers, but does this look familiar to you at all? Have you ever been in those buildings? Do you can remember? No? Okay.
From a criminal strategy standpoint, admitting to having been at the crime scene could potentially offer an explanation for his DNA presence without directly incriminating himself in the murder. Claiming a prior connection, such as dating the victim or having visited her apartment, could serve as a plausible explanation for the DNA evidence. By denying any involvement or presence at the scene, he unintentionally complicates his position by failing to provide a credible account that could justify the DNA findings. This denial could indeed be perceived as a misstep from a strategic standpoint.
Let me ask you this. In 1993, did you ever date anyone in Minneapolis? No. Okay. Did you ever, and I'm sorry I have to ask you this question, okay? I'm not trying to embarrass you. Did you ever have sex with a female in Minneapolis in 93 that you remember? Not that I recall. Okay. Okay. Does this lady look familiar to you at all? Mm-hmm. Okay, her name is Jeannie Childs. Okay. And she was also known as Jennifer. And so she is a person that lived in these buildings in 1993. Okay. And she was found in her building, in her apartment, deceased. Do you know anything about that at all? No. Okay. Do you think you would have ever had sex with her? I doubt it. No. Okay. I mean, in 93, did you, and I'm not trying to embarrass you, but did you visit prostitutes at all? Not as far as, that's year I met my wife. Okay. Besides your wife, in 93, would you have been with a prostitute? No. Okay, would you have sex with another woman in 1993 other than your wife? Yes. Okay. Do you remember, I'm not asking their names, but do you remember the people that you had sex with in 1993? No. I mean, not off the top of my head, no. Okay. But did any of the women live in Minneapolis? No. Okay.
His concise no responses and refusal to elaborate indicate a strategic approach to protect himself legally. By understanding his rights and choosing to remain tight-lipped, he's demonstrating an awareness of the potential consequences of his words. Calling for a lawyer from the start could have been a more legally practical move for his defense. However, this choice to engage without legal representation has resulted in a compelling video that sheds light on the investigation.
Do you remember where you were living in 1993? In Apple Valley. Okay. Does Egan sound right? Would you have lived in Egan in 93? Could have been. So, the reason that we're wanting to talk to you. I'm sorry. Remember, does the phone number 612-621-8451 mean anything to you? Okay. All right. The reason that we're talking is she was found deceased in her apartment. Okay, and we think that you were inside that apartment. Would that be any reason for that at all to happen? You think? No. Okay. All right. Okay, so now this is a long time ago. Are you sure on those answers? I haven't. Yeah, okay. So part of what happened with this case, Jerry, is the investigators, what they did is they went through and they processed it. And as you can imagine, and I'm sure you're aware of, things are collected and then they're looked at for forever pretty much, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what happened in this case. And so I just want to show you just some stuff, nothing gory. But here's a bedspread. It's got a lot of red stuff on it. It's blood. Okay. Would there be any reason why your DNA would be on there? What about what size shoe do you wear? 10.5, 11.5. Okay. See these feet print there in the blood? Would those, any reason why those would be your feet print? No. Okay. You see this towel here with the blood on it? Would there be any reason why your DNA would be on that towel? No. Okay. So you see this shirt and that washcloth? Okay, so this shirt is got a little bit of blood on it, and then this has got some blood on it. Would there be any reason why your DNA would be on those two items? No. Okay. What about this sink here? In this back area here, see all this blood? Would there be any reason why your DNA would be in that blood there? No.
When presented with the evidence, his repeated denials may stem from a belief that the officers are misleading him, a tactic permitted during interrogations. However, his insistence on denying involvement might also be driven by the understanding that lying in such a serious murder case could severely incriminate him. While officers can use deceptive strategies, lying about his connection to the crime could significantly worsen his legal standing if evidence contradicts his statements.
Okay. Does it shock you to know your DNA is there? Yes. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Back then, in 93, did you drink? Were you a drinker? Yeah. Could there have been a time in your life where you drank and maybe don't remember things? It happens every once in a while. Okay. But, I mean, because we're talking, let's try to figure this out there, because do you remember us at all? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because this is, so what happened with this case, Jerry, this lady was killed, and these are the things that everyone looked at. And then, we started looking at this case 3-4 years ago and just kind of processed it and did whatever. And your DNA is at every one of these locations that we talked about just a second ago. And I was kind of wondering, do you have any idea why that would be? No. Okay. Here's how I need you to understand this. A lot of times people come down here, okay? By the time that we work on cases, it has always been many years. And it is hard for people to get over the hurdle of kind of explaining things away. It's real important that if you remember anything here, to share that with us. Because we want to make sure that if something happened in this apartment that you need us to know, that we know. Okay? Because there's got to be an explanation why scientifically you're there. Okay? It can't be a coincidence. Do you see what I'm saying? And there's been a lot of times things have happened where people say, hey, all of a sudden something happened, or there's here, let me tell you what you don't know, or things along those lines. And I think it'd be a good idea for you to kind of get out in front of this a little bit and just kind of say, hey, hold on a second, guys. Let me tell you some parts that you don't know about this story. Science can tell us that the person that is at all these locations was there when this happened and participated in it. But there's the things that the person that was there can fill in gaps too. And that's what we're asking you for, are those gaps. Now, do you know we have your DNA? I assume so. Okay. So, can you think of anything? I mean, this has been a long time ago, but this is a pretty significant event. When you agree, I mean, the person involved in this is going to remember, don't you think? Absolutely. Yeah. And so that's kind of what we're wondering, if you have any of that kind of knowledge.
The interrogation concluded, leading to Westrum's arrest. During his trial, a comprehensive box of evidence was presented, with the napkin emerging as a fundamental and compelling link. Prosecutors unveiled a disturbing narrative. Westrum allegedly inflicted 65 stab wounds, pursued the victim as she bled, and committed additional acts. In 2022, the conclusion of the trial resulted in Westrum's conviction for first-degree premeditated murder and second-degree intentional murder. Consequently, he received a life sentence in prison. As the courtroom drama surrounding Jerry Westrum concluded, a new narrative emerged. Meet Julio Soto, a 49-year-old Orange County Castle Creek elementary school teacher. Allegations have surfaced accusing him of inappropriate physical contact with students. Initially based solely on an 11-year-old's complaint, the upcoming interrogation footage will serve as a critical piece in forming your judgment regarding his plea of not guilty. Stay tuned as we dive into this case, examining the interrogation, unraveling the details, and ultimately, the verdict to help determine the innocence or guilt of this once lauded educator. On February 13th, 2019, a student of Mr. Soto, who will be anonymous to safeguard privacy, sustained an arm injury during her physical education class, making her unable to participate in the activities. While seated on the sidelines due to her injury, Soto approached her and requested assistance in addressing her test upstairs. Agreeing, she accompanied him to his second-floor classroom as requested. When they got upstairs, the girl claimed Soto, telling her that he was going to try to find her tickle spot. He began touching her above the clothing and eventually underneath it. When she told him to stop, he replied, "Oh, okay," and stopped, but he did it repeatedly. After the completion of the girl's test, Soto returned to his desk and informed her there were only 2 minutes remaining in the physical education class, instructing her to return downstairs. Initially hesitant to disclose the incident to her parents, due to fear of their reaction, the girl eventually confided in her friends, feeling overwhelmed by the situation. Soto was detained at a public shopping plaza approximately 2 miles away from the school. An officer briefly discussed the case with him during this encounter, and subsequently, the same detective who interacted with him was present in the interrogation room the following day.
So you say you normally take 3 to 4 kids. What happened this time?
This time it was just her. You know, she was asking me because she goes, I was concerned about Friday because you're going to meet my mommy and all this stuff. And I said, okay, I wasn't even thinking.
But why?
What do you mean why?
Well, if you're going to take a female student to your classroom, you didn't think to let me just grab another.
And honestly, I just wanted to get her work done, get her, and then go back to specials. I'm doing great. So. And like I said, that's my bad. No, she's at the farther point.
Okay.
But she's facing me, so that way, if she calls me, it's like I can look up at her without walking over because I'm doing my grades on my computer.
While she was sitting at the U-shape or kidney table, did you walk over to check on her?
And not until she said something about her wrist or her arm.
And what did she say about her arm? That
she started tearing up, and then she started complaining about her arm. It's like, you said you were fine, and she goes, well, it started hurting me, it's like, so I walked over, and I said, and I asked her, can I touch your arm? Mm-hmm. And she said, yeah, so I kind of held her like this, one hand here and one hand here. Okay. So I looked at it, it's like, is your wrist hurting? Okay. And she goes, no, it's not my wrist. I said, so I pointed like this. Mm-hmm. I said, is your forearm hurting? She said, yeah, that's where it hurts. I said, well, did you tell your mom and dad? And she goes, yeah. And then I go, what did mom and dad say? She goes, nothing.
Do you, when you had, and was she the only one in the classroom with you at the time? Do you normally take kids in the classroom?
No, that's what I was telling them. Normally I try to get a couple kids, and I was it was just.
Is that like policy, or is that common practice, or what is that?
It's probably common practice. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it is written somewhere, but if you're going to bring a student back to your classroom, you always bring at least, if there's another adult there, or if not an adult, then you're supposed to bring a couple of kids.
And why didn't you on that day?
I wasn't even thinking. Yeah, and that's what I said. I said, that's my bad, I'll get if I get a count statement from the school, that's fine. All I do was I knew parents were coming, I just wanted her to get this stuff done, and then that was it.
At this stage, the reliability of the information hangs on the interrogation and the accounts provided. The situation seems to involve conflicting narratives, with the student's testimony contrasting with any potential statements or explanations from Mr. Soto during the interrogation.
So, basically, you brought her up just to do the work, correct?
Correct, yes.
What is that thing that's on your door? It's like a black cover. What is it for?
Oh, that's for active assailants.
Do you normally have yours drawn?
It's always up.
Okay. It's always up?
Yeah, unless we have an active assailants and we put it down, or when the kids play with it after school.
Because
it's only taped.
Okay. Do you ever have yours up for like your planning period where you don't want to be bothered? So yours is always up?
Yeah.
Is there any reason why it would have been down that day?
Like I said, it's only held by tape. Masking tape.
So, if you're in the classroom with a student and you notice it's down, would you have fixed it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You didn't notice it was down?
No. It should have been down.
The significance of this paper lies in its potential role in the incident. According to reports, after the incident occurred, the girl inquired about visibility in the classroom, to which Soto allegedly referred to a privacy paper, suggesting it obscured their view. However, Soto maintains that this paper is regularly used during activity challenges, implying it was not specifically created for privacy purposes. The intent behind the placement of this paper, whether for routine activity challenges or potentially to create privacy, remains a crucial point of contention and investigation in this case.
Now, I'm going to clarify something. You said when you guys went down to the park, or not the park, but the basketball courts, right?
Yes.
For specials.
For specials, yes.
Went down for specials. She was stuck to you like glue. She just followed you around. Or she just stood in one spot?
She just stood there.
Okay, she stood in one spot. She stood in one spot for how long?
A couple of minutes until the coach came.
Okay. I reviewed the school video that day.
Okay.
First thing, she was in a sling. She was in a sling and she was sitting on the bench. She was sitting on the bench next to a little boy. I don't know who he is, but she was sitting on
that Wednesday?
Yes.
No.
I'm literally telling you. I'm going to tell you what I saw in the school video. She was sitting on the bench with that little boy. She had a sling on her arm. She had a band around her hair, had this big ponytail. I see you come down with your class. Your class sits. You just walk around for a little bit. You then walk over directly to her. You have some type of conversation. I don't know what the conversation was about. After you have the conversation, she gets up. You guys walk up that stairwell.
The side stairwell, yes.
Walk up the side stairwell. Proceed to the second floor.
Yes.
She had a sling on.
I honestly don't remember the sling.
Okay.
I knew it was the week before, but
She had a sling on that day. She had a full sling on. Her arm was completely wrapped. Do you remember what the conversation was with her that day?
No. Probably mom.
Probably mom.
Probably mom.
When you guys got up to the classroom, if she had a sling on, why would her arm be out of the sling?
Because she's been taking it off the week before. I yelled at her a couple times.
So she would have taken it off?
Oh, yeah.
If she would have taken it off and put it on the table, or...
I didn't, and I'm telling you the truth, I don't remember it.
Okay. You don't remember what part?
What you just told me.
Okay. You don't remember her having a sling?
Not that day.
Do you remember the accident that happened that Monday?
Accident?
The accident that happened to her, that caused her to get...
Oh, no, that was during drama class.
Okay, so that was during drama class.
Yes.
That Tuesday she would have been in your class. Did you notice she had that sling on?
I honestly thought it was the week before.
Okay. Well, it is the week of possibly February 13th.
Okay.
February 13th, which would have been that Wednesday.
Okay.
You said that before specials, she stayed upstairs for a minute. You guys talked. She asked if she can come to your class. She proceeded to come down to the specials area with you.
Right.
And then she went back up.
Right.
The video never shows her coming downstairs with you. It shows you walking down with your class and she's already down there.
Not that same day.
Julio, hang on, because what I don't want to happen is for us to go down a path that we can't recover from.
Right.
Okay. So the video that my partner's talking about, I watched the same video.
Okay.
So you have two different people watching the same video.
Right.
And it shows her class downstairs already, and she's sitting on a bench, okay, talking to another student. You come down with your class, and you approach her at the bench. Now, you remember taking her to the classroom to do work, and
Right.
you remember specific details about her arm was hurting, and you went over to her, and you were like, let me see, and you were like touching her arm. It was very caring of you. And why if you remember those specific details, I don't understand why you can't remember the detail about the sling, because that would explain why her arm was hurting.
Right. When I went over there, there was nothing on her arm.
But even if she didn't have that sling on, her arm would have still been wrapped. The arm was basically.
But it was bare.
Her arm was, in this video, her arm wasn't bare.
Right, but when she came to the classroom, it was bare.
So she would have had to take that off as she walked up with you, because on video, you walk in front of her, you go around the stairs. So these are the stairs.
Right.
You know how you walk in the door? You got to turn around, right?
Right.
To walk up the stairs. You're in front of her. She's on your left-hand side. Her arm is completely slinged. I see her go past the video with a sling on her arm, and you continue to walk up. You walk on the right side, she walks on the left.
Okay.
So
she had a sling on.
Very distinct.
Right.
Revisiting the video footage to verify the presence or absence of the sling could indeed provide clarity in this situation. By presenting this evidence to Soto, the detectives could potentially address any inconsistencies in his recollection of the incident. If Soto is mistaken or deliberately misleading about the absence of the sling, the video evidence could serve to challenge his account, aiding in establishing a more accurate sequence of events.
Now, after you made contact with her in the classroom and you're touching her arm, did you have any other contact with her that day?
That's it, because after she said that, she started tearing up, and then that's why I asked her those questions, and I said, well, after specials, if your arm still hurts, let me know. If you're in my classroom in the afternoon and it continues bothering you and you haven't done anything yet, then go let me know and I'll send you to the nurse. Then I walk back to my desk and I continue doing grades.
If I'm a student in your class and I came up to you and I told you my arm hurt, and I begin to tear up, what would you do?
Well, not at that moment before school. The nurse is not there yet, so I'd say, well, sit down.
Well, this is during specials. I'm in your classroom, my arm is hurting, I'm tearing up, what would you do?
I said, I'll give them a choice. You want to go to the nurse, and then if they say yes or no, then if it's yes, then I'll send them to the nurse.
If they say no?
Then I don't.
You don't try to make contact with the parents to let them know?
Well, the parent already knows.
That's what a student's telling you?
Correct.
But we don't know if the parent knows.
That's true.
So, I'm just trying to figure out what was your mindset that day if my arm is hurting and I'm just a student in your class and I'm tearing up and I'm just like, hey, my arm hurts.
Right.
And I'm showing you my arm hurts. And I refuse to go to the nurse. Wouldn't you make a notification to take liability off the school?
True.
But did that happen?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, can I ask what the full interaction was in the classroom while she was upstairs after you were checking her out?
Yeah, because then after that.
She finished her work and then she left?
Yep.
There was no other conversation that happened?
Nope.
How much time was left before specials was over?
40 specials around 45, 50 minutes.
So estimate or give me an approximate.
I still had about a good 45 minutes.
45 minutes left for specials?
I'm sorry. 45 minutes for total specials. So she was up there for about 15 minutes. So I was probably alone for about 30 minutes.
Okay. And what did you do while she was in the classroom?
I was at my desk doing grades.
Did you ever leave?
Bathroom.
Okay. How many times did you go to the bathroom?
Once.
Yesterday you told me twice.
But no, before. Before I went to the bathroom, and then when she was in the room, then I went to the bathroom.
So was it once or twice?
Once in the classroom.
Okay. When she was in the classroom, what was your instructions when you went to the bathroom?
I said, just stay there, continue working. I'm going to go right into the bathroom, which is outside the classroom. And then I said, come back, and then just keep on working.
Okay. At any time while in the classroom, did you say, hey, I'm going to tickle you? Did you attempt to tickle her?
Mm-mm.
Did you place your hands on her in any other way?
No, other than her arm.
Okay.
Because she's one of those students that would tell, if I did something like that, I know she would tell the whole world. So
you're telling me if you did something to her, she would tell?
Yes.
So why are we getting this allegation?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
At any point did you touch her other than
the
her arm?
Other than
Ever?
the arm.
Have you ever tickled her?
No.
Have you ever horseplayed with her?
Not horseplay, like touching her, no.
Have you ever horseplayed, grab ass, whatever you want to call it? Have you guys ever did anything that would allude to being a playful manner, in a playful manner? Have you joked with her?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys...
But not like one-on-one, joking in the class.
So okay, we're in a group setting. Yeah. Have you ever tried to tickle her in a group setting?
No.
Analyzing Soto's body language and responses provides an additional layer to the interrogation dynamics. His apparent confidence in maintaining his story, coupled with immediate corrections to inconsistencies pointed out by the detective, adds complexity to the situation. The detective's assertive questioning may be interpreted as an attempt to challenge Soto's narrative or to provoke a potential confession. The possibility of coercion over confession is a valid consideration. Still, it remains early in the process, and more evidence and context may be needed to draw definitive conclusions about the nature of Soto's statements and the overall validity of the case.
Leo, when you're interacting with your students, a lot of students that we spoke to today, and we spoke to about 40 of them,
Okay.
they all say that you're an awesome teacher. You're one of their favorite teachers. They love coming to your class. They love interacting with you. They love spending time with you because you're very easy for them to get along with. Okay? A lot of other students have told us, like, you'll mess around, like, every once in a while, like, joke around with them and stuff, and sometimes you'll, like, try to lighten the mood if you see that they're sad or they're down or something like that. And one of the ways that you do that is to, like, just jab them a little bit, like in the ribs or anything like that. Well, they said that you call it like a tickle, like a tickling thing, where you're like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna tickle you.
But I never touched anything appropriately.
Well, we're not alluding to you touching them inappropriate. We're just trying to figure out have you ever tickled them. Like we literally, like she just said, we've interviewed like 40 something.
Like this.
And they're like, you'll poke them and you'll be like, hey, I'm gonna get your tickle spot, and then.
Right.
But do you say that to them? Like, I'm going to get your tickle spot?
Not tickle spot, but like, oh, we're going to, I'm going to get you or something like that. But,
I got like more than 8 kids who told me that you said, hey, I'm going to get your tickle spot, and you poke them. Have you ever said, I'm going to get your tickle spot?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I may have, but I don't. But I would never, ever, if I had a Bible, I would put it right there. I would, and I'm sure you probably hear this all the time, but I would never touch a girl or boy, for that matter, in any inappropriate area.
We're not calling it inappropriate. We're just asking if you ever tickled them. So you're telling me you'll poke at them, but you don't say anything? Because that will make it awkward.
Honestly, I don't know.
Have you ever tickled a student?
Not tickle like a normal tickle.
Have you ever
How would you define it?
Tickle's like tickling like this.
Okay.
So
how would you define it?
That's what I do.
Okay.
Just a poke?
You poke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you ever use more than one finger?
Have you used 2, 3, 4?
No, 1.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.
Have you ever reached out and, like, touched?
No.
Nothing like that? Like on the side or anything? Just been like, hey,
No. They touched me. I already have a bruise right here for one of the girls giving me a hard hug.
One of the girls gave you a hard hug?
Yeah, she's a good girl.
Have you ever been told by the school staff or anybody on school campus that you got to slow down on, like, hugging students, tickling students?
I do, and we talk, and that's why, I tell them, like, the one girl that gave me the bruise over here, well, not bruise, but, like, I was like, honey, you can't be doing that, and because it's at dismissal, so everybody says goodbye and everything. So a couple of kids, one of my boys, Christopher, he gives me hugs every single day. So that, so most of my hugs are like this. Sometimes I'll like that, or if it's a really long hug, I was like, okay, time's up. And I mean, there's always students around.
Have you ever received a complaint?
On what?
From one of the students in your class?
Not in my class, no.
Have you ever received a complaint from any student on campus?
Yeah, like I told you about 2 years ago.
And what was that complaint exactly?
The same thing, the tickling.
Okay.
The tickling?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have tickled students?
No, not her.
Not her.
So how did that happen?
How did she complain about something that didn't?
And I said, let's talk about what's going on. And he goes, something with the other teacher and everything. I said, well, you know, you can't get upset and everything. And so then this girl, who also has needs also, and she comes over, and then so is like he'll do this to me. So I did it back to him, and then she says, oh, well, I want to play, and she did it to both of us. And I was like, this is a two-way conversation. This is a three-way. So then when called me in and told me what happened, she said the parent was concerned that I was tickling her. I was like, tickling her? I said it was a conversation between me and another student, and then because the other kids were on the floor sitting waiting for us to go, and everybody's just talking, they were looking at each other and everything, and then she came over because she saw me and trying to, you know, converse, and then she comes in, and then so started smiling because I started making some jokes, and then so he goes, oh, I'm going to get you, Mr. Soto. And I was like, oh, no, I'm going to get you. And then she comes over, and she goes, oh, I'm going to get you, Mr. Soto, I'm going to get you. Like.
So, have you ever received any kind of counseling forms or anything from the school?
Yes, for that one.
For
That's
that?
the only counseling form you've ever received?
That I know of.
Okay. Would you consider yourself to be like the friendly teacher?
Yes.
Would you think that some students would just think that your friendliness is a little extra, a little over?
They can, because they're only 10, they're 10, 11 years old.
Okay.
Acknowledging a prior incident similar to the current allegations might suggest transparency and openness on Soto's part. His willingness to disclose a previous complaint, although while denying the specific accusation of tickling, could be interpreted as an attempted openness. The distinction he draws, mentioning something akin to a poke instead of tickling, might indicate an effort to clarify or offer an alternative perspective on the matter. This acknowledgement, while denying some aspects and confirming others, could be seen as an attempt to be forthcoming while differentiating between the alleged actions.
Question you asked for?
Field trip,
yeah.
Okay. There have been complaints from multiple students who said that they've heard and seen you gesture toward other students making comments about their bodies.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever done something
No.
like that? So why would the kids tell me, different kids now,
Right.
all different ages, all different areas of the school tell me that that's not true, that they've seen and heard you make these comments.
Honestly, I don't know.
So are these kids all lying on you?
Don't know.
You don't, well, that...
I know.
Well, hold on 1 second. You said she was lying, but earlier you told me that if you were to ever do something, you know that she would be the one who would just go out there and tell the world.
Exactly.
So why is she telling the world?
I don't know. That's why I'm very confused and upset, and that's why I was talking to.
But she was one of the kids that said that you were one of her favorite teachers.
Mm-hmm.
She literally said that you're her favorite teacher in the whole wide world, and she has so much fun in your class.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I try to.
So why the lie?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, I don't know why they're lying.
Right.
And I don't know why it's a whole bunch of people telling me the same story.
Mm-hmm.
The very same story. The details and the facts don't change. I've been doing this job for going on 11 years now. And when details and stories don't change, there's usually something to it. So what I want to do is I don't want you to paint yourself as this bad person, this monster.
Okay?
Hang on. I want you to paint yourself maybe as the person who may have made a mistake. If a comment was made, then it was made. We can't take back what we said. Right. But I want us to be honest, especially in this room, because what I'm hearing, and I was not with my partner last night when he met you for the first time. So what I'm hearing and what I'm being told, I want us to be able to represent as positively as possible what's been going on. Because there's a lot of people who are being impacted by this.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to understand this. If the stories aren't changing, but yours is, that's a clue. I need for wait. I need for you to be honest with me. If you accidentally touched her, or if you did something in a way that, or reaching over her, glazed over her shoulders or something, just tell me.
I have no problem with that.
Because that's not inappropriate touching.
Right. I have no problem with that. Like I told you last night, I have no problem. If I make a mistake, I'll confess up to it.
Yeah.
But if I know I truly didn't do something,
It sounds like the interrogation took a confrontational turn, detectives employing aggressive tactics to push for a particular narrative, especially asking someone to portray themselves in a certain light, can raise concerns about coercion. If Soto has consistently maintained his truthfulness throughout the interrogation, any inconsistencies might indeed be attributed to the pressure or tactics employed during the questioning. Aggressive or close-in interrogation approaches can sometimes lead to coerced statements or reactions that might not align with the actual events. These tactics can impact the reliability of information obtained during the interrogation.
My old boss, he used to have a saying, if you mess up, fess up.
Yep.
Did you mess up?
No.
Well,
I mean, I messed up as far as
What do you consider it that you messed up?
bringing her upstairs, allowing her to come upstairs alone, that I'm bringing
Look back on that. Would you do it again?
No.
But I want to confirm something really
Yes, sir.
quick. You said you've never taken another student up there by themselves before.
Correct.
I got several staff members saying this might be like the second or third time. Be straight with me.
No, seriously.
Have you ever?
No, she was the first time. I always brought students up, but not alone.
Have you ever had a student who stayed in the classroom alone?
No.
Let me ask you this, Julio, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Just hang out with me for just a second,
Sure.
okay? What I want to make sure that we're understanding each other,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? Because I think that some of this can be a miscommunication,
Okay.
But when I have, like I said, multiple kids
Mhm.
telling me multiple different things, then I'm having trouble with what you're telling me, okay? And that's why I'm trying to avoid you going down the path that I see you going down. Okay. I don't want you, like I said before, to paint yourself as this monster. I want you to paint yourself as maybe the guy that may have made a mistake. Maybe you made a comment. Maybe, while you were reaching out and touching one of the kids, you may have, it's possible. When kids laugh, ha ha ha, they wiggle around. I have kids, I get it, okay?
Right.
So what I want is just pure honesty from you, because I don't want people, and other people are going to review this, okay? I have people of my chain of command are going to review this, and what I don't want to have to do is go back to my computer and say, Julio's a monster.
Right.
Because he's not saying what his story isn't lining up with all these individual stories that are coming out, okay? But hang on, let me finish, okay? Because I want, Julio, what I want is I want for you to be honest with me. I'm being honest with you, correct? I'm being upfront with you, I'm being straightforward with you, and I don't think you're a monster at all. A monster isn't the kind of person that makes people, react the way that these students do to you. They still like you, which tells me that you may be a good guy, okay? And that's fantastic. But even good people make mistakes.
Sure.
I've made mistakes. My partner's made mistakes. People make mistakes. What I want from you, okay, is for you to I want you to let me help you.
Right.
Okay? But in order for me to help you, I need to have honesty from you.
Right. And I'm telling you everything that I remember.
But I don't think that you are. That's the problem. I think you want to tell me everything that happened, but I don't think you're telling me the whole story. I believe that you went over to her and the sling wasn't on her arm. I believe that part of your story, because you just said that she was saying, hey, put your sling back on, what are you doing?
Right.
I get that.
But it wasn't that same day.
Okay, but how is it not feasible then that she would have removed the sling while she was in your classroom?
I honestly don't remember. That's why I'm trying to remember everything. I don't know.
Why are these other people then telling me that they've seen you touch her? Okay, because I want to go down this road with you, okay, but you're fighting me.
I'm sorry,
There's very specific recollection from independent individuals.
I'm not saying I never did it, I just don't remember.
Seeing you reach across and touch her. Touch. Why am I being told by different people?
I touched, oh my gosh.
Why is that coming up? Help me understand.
I wish I could. I don't know. I don't remember ever doing that.
I think that you do.
No, ma'am, I don't.
I don't know about that, because it's, your story that you were telling my partner from last night is varying now.
Well,
and the story that you're telling me in here is that these kids are all lying on you, even though they're your favorite teacher. I understand that parental interaction that you have, but I also want you to think about your family.
I know.
I know, and it's a scary thing, is
and
it not?
And my daughter's the same age, well, she's in 6th grade.
Your daughter's in 6th grade.
Yes, and that's why...
So hang on. So this is a scary interaction, but I don't want it to be a scary interaction. I want it to be a positive interaction, because if a mistake was made, then a mistake was made, and we can come and we can clear it up.
Right.
And your family can move forward, because this is a very difficult thing for a family to deal with. I'm sure that you and your wife had very in-depth conversations last night after my partner left your house instead of having to go and step backwards.
Right. But I'm telling you everything I remember to the best of my ability. If I messed up, I'll mess up. I'll tell you the truth, I'll mess up. You know, because like you just said, and we do the same thing in the military. And that's why I called my first sergeant. I told him what happened last night. I said I'm self-reporting because this is what's happening. And so I have to, let them know.
Okay, and what did you self-report?
That they came last night and I'm being accused of touching one of my students inappropriately.
It seems like the detective was utilizing a specific interrogation technique known as the read technique, aiming to steer the conversation in a way that could influence Soto's perspective and responses. This technique often involves creating scenarios or themes that might provide psychological justifications or excuses for the alleged actions. By minimizing denials and redirecting the conversation towards acknowledging certain aspects, the aim could be to encourage Soto to deviate from his original story or admit guilt. Staying steadfast in denying or sticking to his initial narrative might be crucial for Soto's defense. However, honesty doesn't always equate to street smarts, and the interrogation might persist in attempting to alter his stance or extract further information. It remains essential for Soto to adhere to the truth or seek legal counsel to navigate such intense questioning effectively.
So why then are her grades plummeting? After February 13th. We have your grade book.
Right.
And her grades, she went from an A student, I mean high marks in your class. She was doing extremely well. And then, as strange as it is, right after this February 13th, this Wednesday, this specific date that we're focused so hard on right now, we've been talking about for the last, hour, why are her grades plummeting?
I don't know.
I mean, 60s. I mean, she's doing terribly now in your class.
And that's why we had to talk with the parents, with the 504.
But the 504 talk happened on a Friday.
Correct, yes.
Long before her grades started plummeting. She got hurt on Monday. So her arm could not have been in a sling the week before. I'm telling you what we know.
Right.
Before we get to this point, we do a lot of things, okay? So the week before, there's no way I would have yelled at her for having her arm in a sling, because her arm wasn't in a sling until Monday.
Okay.
And then the 13th, she came to your classroom. We know that she was on video. You went and got her from specials after you dropped your kids. You took her upstairs. Her arm was in the sling then. After you got in your classroom, we know that she was working on something in your classroom, be it a test or homework or whatever it was, she was working on something. And you went over to her and you placed your hand on her.
On the arm, yes.
No.
No.
That's not where you placed your hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is everything else not lining up? Why is the teacher, who is everyone's favorite, now being painted in this light?
Honestly, I don't know.
Well, you have to help me cross that bridge, because I can't go over it by myself. I don't understand. I'm not in your shoes. I'm not a teacher. I don't live the life that you live. These students are all telling me, Mr. Soto's awesome, but he does this stuff.
Right.
Why? Like, why would they be making this up on you? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever.
The only thing I can think of is maybe when I try to be cool with the kids, you know, play around, they take whatever I say the wrong way. I don't know.
Well, what do you say that they could take the wrong way?
I don't know.
Well, help me out.
Right.
It is what it is. We're sitting in this room together,
mm-hmm.
and we're having this conversation. It is what it is.
But I'm telling the truth. I've had the Bible, whatever. I'm telling the truth.
Okay, I'm not worried about the Bible. Okay? I'm worried about
anything appropriate to
I'm
give
worried
me
about what happened between you and these kids. There is another student who came forward to us today and said that you reached around and you touched her. So why are they telling me this?
Like you said, maybe I don't know. I'm just I can't think of the word. Hypothesizing. Could be, you know, like you said, I could be touching somebody and they turn around and then he just goes in front or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
And I can live with that, but
right.
I need you to tell me about this interaction in the classroom with
right.
Because I think that what's happening is we are so detailed up until we get in the classroom and it's, well, she did her work and then she left.
Yeah.
That's not how that went.
Except for the arm.
Okay, but that's not how that went. I don't understand how someone as detail-oriented as you are could miss some certain real key points. But
I'm telling you, that time frame, it's about, I would say about 15 minutes. We came in the classroom, I told her to go over there, get your packet, I sat on my desk and I started working, and then she asked me a couple of questions, and I answered the questions, and then she started tearing up a little bit about her arm, so I said, I went over there, I sat next to her, and then before I touched her...
That's not how it happened.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
yes,
Julio, that's not what happened, and I don't want to go down this road anymore because it's not what happened.
I'm not, honestly,
I believe that you went over to her because she said her arm hurt.
Correct.
But what I don't believe is that you sat next to her and that's the whole interaction that you had.
And I believe what you told us is true. You remember what you told us earlier?
No.
That you couldn't do anything because you would tell the whole world.
Right, and I wouldn't, if I'm that type of person wanted to excuse my language, cock a feel or something like that or whatever, touch a student, why would I do it to a student, to a student that I know would tell everybody?
Because you've done it before and she hasn't.
And you have the capability, the opportunity, and the intent.
Right. But I'm not a predator. I'm not a stalker. not stalker.
You disagree with my partner. You have the capability, the opportunity, and the intent.
Right.
So you
the intent,
you
not
did
the intent.
Well, you just agreed with them.
You literally just met the triangle. You're in a room.
Right, but I wasn't intending to do anything.
But you're in a room.
Yes.
With a child by yourself.
Yes.
There's no other adult present.
Correct.
Nobody really knows that this child is missing from PE or they're special where they're supposed to be.
Correct.
They're in a room with you. Nobody knew this child was missing. This child returns to special before special's over, just in time to go back to the next class.
No, she was only in my class for roughly 15 minutes. So there's still good...
15 minutes is
a long time.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you folks.
If my child was gone for 15 minutes, I'd be a little worried.
Mm-hmm.
1 minute is a little too long to be with an adult, no other adults to know,
right,
and to be gone. You gotta give me something here because you're not giving me an explanation as to why this child was in that room with you for 15 minutes besides homework and you not tell anybody. I would think you would say, hey, you want to come over real quick and we can go over some lesson plans?
Right.
Hey, let me grab a couple of students who need to catch up on.
And that's what I said. I said that was my bad because I was just trying to rush and get through. I wasn't thinking.
But that's not what that happened.
What are you rushing to get through?
No, just to get through, to get her work done.
Julio, I'm starting to really pull back from this idea, okay, that maybe you didn't mean for something to happen. Because nothing that you're saying is lining up with the video. Nothing that you're saying is lining up with what other students are telling me. Nothing is lining up with why her grades suddenly started to plummet. Nothing is lining up. I've been doing this for quite a while, and when the facts don't add up, there is a problem. You're not a stupid person. You're not. You're an intelligent man, okay? I know that from talking to you. I'm not a stupid person. I'm an intelligent person. What I'm asking is for us to meet on equal ground and speak as intelligent people to each other and speak as adults to each other. And what I'm starting not to get is that you don't want to tell me either because you think you can outsmart me, which is not going to happen, or you don't want to tell me what happened because you're afraid. So which one is it?
I'm afraid no matter what because I'm feeling I'm going to be arrested for something I didn't do, and that's what's really upset. Well,
tell me what you did do then, because I'm being told by a bunch of people what happened. So tell me what you did do so that I can close that gap.
Right, and I told you exactly what happened in that room.
No, you didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
We're missing something.
There's a piece that's missing.
And it's a big one.
You went up behind her, and you put your hand on her chest.
Why would I jeopardize my job, my license, possibly career?
I think it was one of those things that it happened. It wasn't like it was, this huge mastermind kind of a plan. Maybe she came on to you. I don't know. I'm not in your shoes and I'm not there. Maybe she's saying stuff to you. Maybe she's commenting to you. Not at all possible?
No.
Okay. So these kids who are telling me that you're making comments about their bodies, multiple kids are lying, multiple kids are telling me that, that you've reached and you've touched them in inappropriate places. Those kids are lying. This child who says that you are her favorite teacher in the world is telling me that you have touched her and now she's lying. So it's the world against you.
I'm just telling you what I know.
No, but you're not.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And there are several students who tell us that you always say, hey, I'm going to try to find your tickle spot. Are they lying?
But I don't. But if I say that stuff, it's not to be inappropriate.
It seems like there's a significant development in the interrogation. All he needs to do is say the L word, and it will all end.
Like I told you, you're a smart guy. And if you allow us to help you, it doesn't have to be the end-all, be-all.
And then I'm going to have a criminal record.
Julio, people make mistakes every day.
And
if it happened, it happened. We know it happened. We watched it happen. We're not here by mistake, and we're not here by accident, and everything is in God's plan. It's by His design. We are all sinners, and we are not all perfect.
Oh, I know.
We all fall short of the glory, man.
Tell us.
Can I have my lawyer?
Perfect.
I'm not saying I'm
okay, no problem.
It appears Julio Soto's situation took a serious turn with charges of lewdness or lascivious behavior and molestation of a minor. His decision to request legal representation by asking for a lawyer might indicate a critical moment in his case. Additionally, the judge denied his plea to be deployed for military service overseas, potentially seeking a different path. Remember, it's your curiosity that fuels this channel. Keep exploring, stay inspired, and join us for more amazing content next time.